Welcome to Steel Curtain Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe down below in your right hand corner. Muchly appreciated as we're trying to grow the channel here. So tell your friends and family and share it. Please share it with other people and grow the channel as we try to grow a strong channel here where you get actual fact instead of I tend to stick away from Rumorville. All right. So let's get into it. We're doing a review of week one. Steelers going into Atlanta, and then we were playing the Falcons today. Interesting game. This was a game that we had to win by my standard. If we didn't, it was going to say a lot more volumes. This was a closer game. It turned out final score turned out 18-10. This game was much closer than it ended up. Even though it's 18 is not that drastic of a difference anyway, but 6 field goals by Boswell. If that man isn't money in the bank, you can't continue to go run off that, though. We have a problem with not being able to capitalize and get the ball in the end zone. That's got to change. Now, there's many different factors that played a part in this game. We got issues. There's no doubt about it. I think I'm still on the wagon of this was closer than you thought, this game. Cousins had a fairly strong game. Thankfully, 2 interceptions helped us. But, even in those scenarios, we didn't capitalize the way we should have. I mean, you got to make those interceptions, the points count in reverse. You got to capitalize on that, getting the ball. And so, although, again, it was a game of the storyline. Definitely Boswell, when, he wins the game for you, 6 field goals. Just he's cash money in the bank, no end ifs and buts. The other storyline would have been T.J. Watt was heating up and had a very strong game. No surprises, as I figure he's in my books are probably our best player. There's no doubt about it. Strong game there by TJ. Applied a lot of pressure on the quarterback between sacks and just forcing, the quarterback to move, make plays quicker, and the hits accumulate. So putting strong pressure on the QB, and so he had a very solid game. I found in the early going, Cam Hayward was very steady before we started to warm up our defense corps. Cores. Cam Hayward to me was kind of the stable force out there. He kept things within range and kept it solid. Played a good, strong, solid game until finally, you had something like TJ Watt, you knew was going to heat up, and he did. However, now to counter on that point being on, TJ Watt had a fabulous game. However, the Steelers got to stop taking so many penalties. We were fortunate we were playing the Falcons. We go on in the season taking the amount of penalties that we were screwing ourselves up after. You make a big play and you just totally reverse any good that came out of that play, with a sack or something like the TJ had, or, you know, just stuff like that. It ends up doing you no good because you get a penalty on it. So it just brings you back into play is useless. So that's got to change. Far too many penalties. It's really got to clean up. And no and ifs and buts. To me, I wasn't overly impressed with the secondary. Seen a lot of concerns, leaving far too much of the field open before closing in on the ball and covering their man. Just like that touchdown scored against us. He did not have his man whatsoever. I forget which cornerback it was, but totally he was not in the right spot, wide open. How a guy runs in your end zone and he's not covered is beyond me. So, again, misassignment, which could have cost us the game because that was kind of at the point where that touchdown put them ahead. We managed to just keep applying the pressure and coming back. Uh, other thing news was, and it was Justin Fields who took the field today, as we knew, as the youngster, and I kind of got to commend him a bit. Yes, there's some things he's got to clean up for sure, but no major mistakes. Well done in that regard. You know, yes, started off the game with the again the missed snap, which they got to get that under control. We kind of knew that could be a problem. So that started the game, but at least, he covered the ball and we got the game back together. So I thought he was for him. I thought he played a very smart, intelligent game. I think the coaching staff, um, offensive coaching staff, did a fine job with play calling and keeping him in check, keeping so that what a threat he is. When that's the great option he gives you. Just seeing him, he makes with his speed, being able to run the ball as well. He gives you that option, which you don't, unfortunately. Back in Russell's early days, you would get that, but not now. So it made things easier on the line defending, but on the thing I think he's got to clean up, holding on to the ball too long. He's got to get his timing on that. That's where he got sacked a couple times. He could have easily got rid of that ball, whether he had a play or throw it out of bounds and just drop it instead of getting sacked and losing yards. That's something he's got to clean up, and I can see that was a fault he had when he was in Chicago. That was one of the knocks against him. So he's got to get his timing and work on that really big time. But overall, I thought he had a strong game. Um, Nice to see him and Pickens get some chemistry with that nice bomb down the field a bit. Nice couple passes they had. They showed chemistry, very, very good chemistry. And now again, Pickens has got to learn how to branch off without taking a foul, because he could have got more out of that real long pass. He could have got more if he wouldn't have pushed off the cornerback. So that, again, that's in our penalty area. So that's the thing, and they utilize. Nice to see they moved the ball around a bit. Harris made a didn't have huge, breakouts in every run, of course, very small chunks, but he had that one blowout for about that he blew right through them with his strength for about 20 yards, which was nice to see that his explosion there. And of course, Warren comes in on another set of plays, and he does very well with his speed, finding the holes, the lines opening up holes much better than we've seen in prior years. That's for sure. So that's encouraging. However, there's one set of an area in the playbook which I think the offense has got to work on tremendously. I don't like it. I don't like those slant passes in close to the sidelines with our players there. We always seem to get into a position where throwing it. The receivers aren't getting up the field just a bit, just so that they've got something accumulated. They're just too straight on, uh, parallel to the quarterback, where they're even and they're not gaining any yardage. It's just like you're tossing the play away. That to me is those slants. They got to work on those and work the players so that they get into a better position on the sideline. Maybe move up just a touch, maybe 4 or 5 feet, just to, so you're going to gain something. You can make those plays fairly quick. These are athletes. I just didn't like those, and I don't like them in the playbook. They're almost a play that wastes a play. In my books, you're not gaining ground. It's almost like you're throwing the ball away. Um, for me, I would rather try something else totally. It was nice mixture of running the ball and throwing the ball. I thought he did, and the Steelers did all right in that department. The only problem I thought was they could not capitalize when they had all of those turnovers, the defense created, and so close in to the opponent's end that you're already in field goal range. But when you're a yard off and stuff, you got to come up with a better play than that, a stronger fortitude to get through and get it when you you're gonna take a risk and go on the fourth down. You gotta make things happen, and I think they got to work on those, capitalizing on those type of plays. Though that's you can see there's work needed there. Um, Looking at it from after that, it was nice to see Mouth involved. He utilizes, and I've said that for a long time. They need to utilize him, and it's just good to see Smith moving, getting Fields to spread that ball around a little bit, which was nice to see. A couple plays there that just seemed out of sync here and there, and again, they still got a lot of work to do because had that have been another opponent, this easily would have been a loss. Easily. I think we were fortunate. Yes, the Falcons didn't look outrageously bad. They looked like they're starting to move forward. Cousins had a good game, and the team had a good game. That their defense played very well, actually. Um, and there was points there, like I say, McLeod. He made us look silly. Our secondary looked silly. He always found the opening, and to me, that's they got some home. Tomlin's got some work to do with secondary and a bit of the linebacking crew. There's just you want to see them step up and cover that midfield a bit better because I found between deep and midfield they were allowing plays to be made. Then we had missed tackles. When you're running right at a guy, how do you just blow by the guy? Missed a tackle and completely. That's I shake my head when I see stuff like that. It's just ludicrous. But it was nice to see Elliott get an early interception, and it was nice to see Jackson finally get one because Jackson. He may had some mistakes through the game. So it was nice to see him get that interception, which it could have been between him and I forget who the other player was next to him. And one of the two would have caught that ball. Nice that he did it. So made them pay and got good return on it too, and up the field a bit. But my God, we got to stop relying on Boswell so much. That's got to change. Our defense needs a lot of work. To me, the main two that were super solid was TJ, of course, which we expect. Um, Fitzpatrick, uh, yeah, Fitzpatrick always plays a half decent game too. Mika, so you know you can count on him. And Cam Hayward always he was consistent all the way through this game. But other than that, there's a lot of guys on D that got to clean their games up. I even found. I found deep. We were just out of sync deep, on our coverage with our cornerbacks and our safeties. That's got to be cleaned up. I was expecting more at a Porter, just guys like that. Yeah, I know, they rely on him heavy, but just expected to see better coverage in the back end and midwise. There's a lot of work to be done on the defense. Offense, I say it again. Yes, Pickens looks good. There are still parts of his game that could he be as number one at some point? There's a possibility there. He's got talent. I don't think he is I think well, whether he is or not, you need somebody that even at least equals his talent level. You need a one and a two, and we don't seem to have it's almost like he's the two, and there's no one, and that's why I was hoping we got Ayuk, but costs seemed a little steep. And that's why I wouldn't keep reporting on that because I knew we can talk about it and the rumors were just going outrageously on the IU trade, and I just didn't see it. But the Steelers are going to need to make an addition in my opinion, to that receiving core. I think they're just missing a weapon, and I think they're too easy to cover for defenses. From what I've seen today, that was a weaker club. And that's why I've been saying my projections for the Steelers, they're going to be, in my opinion, yes, they had to win this week. Um, Good that they did. From what I could see, there's a lot to be cleaned up. I still see them in the basement area of that AFC North. Sorry, there was so much of an overall of that team that unless they gel real well, um, I don't foresee them being at the top of the division. I just don't see it. And then you got teams like Houston who are past us. We got several teams that have moved by us. Our own division has, and now we've got some of the other teams like Houston and Miami, in my opinion, and the Bills are and the Chiefs are all ahead of us. So we're kind of sliding back a bit, but this was a must win, so that's good. It's encouraging. I wanted to get a good look at it, but again, it was it revealed what I thought was there. They easily could have lost this game. Really, T.J. Watt and Boswell were the major differences in this ball game, and you got to give credit to Fields. He played a safe game. He's got to get that ball out quicker, though, in certain circumstances, where those plays you see him get sacked on. If he would have got rid of the ball, he had the ball plenty of times. He's got to see a play or just throw it away instead of losing. He's got to learn on that instead of losing major yardage, because that's not going to work with better clubs. But he did better by playing it safe, no interceptions, played a good, solid game. Like the way he mixed up, and I just love um, when he runs the ball as well, makes himself a threat, because he's got some speed and some great agility in his steps. So overall, it wasn't a bad game, but it's nothing to get overly hyped about. I think you got to be very careful. Just because we beat the Falcons, we should beat the Falcons if the way everybody talks about the Steelers, right? We should beat them. So it's and then you've seen that the 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 hit on Cameron Johnson, the kicker, and that really was on us. We kind of hit the player into him ourselves. So I hope he's okay. I'm waiting to hear the report on that. But Boswell did well coming in for him on the punting. Austin looks good. I think he's just got to be a little more careful. He has good breakouts, and I know he expects that. But there's times I think he should take the knee, because sometimes I think when somebody is really in tight on him, he still goes for it. He's got to learn when not to go. But good signs, but a lot to work on. Just again, get rid of those slants and come up with a better package on them, or get them a little deeper on the slant a bit. Just it was just like throwing the ball away the way they were doing it today. And for me, you got to clean that up. All right. So with that being said, we got to win. That's great. Don't expect to be staying at the top too long, because the Ravens, with that game I seen with them against the Chiefs, they're going to be the number one team in our division. I'm sure of it, because I almost think that was really like a toenail. I almost think that ball should have counted in that catch in the end zone. I think they're getting a little carried away with the toenail. But anyway, yeah, I don't think we're at that level of the Ravens, to be quite honest with you. But like I said, we had some good signs. Good to see Fields. You know, at least wasn't making the mistakes we were worried he would. So that was good news to see. But there is going to be, they got to, in my opinion, they need another weapon as a wide receiver. I just don't think I think that everybody's expecting it to be Pickens, and you cover Pickens and you got nothing else to throw to other than Mouth. And that just seems, you need a number one wide receiver, and we better face the facts. And again, we got to clean up our D. Um, Looking a little shaky, to be honest. They got to figure out their assignments, that's for sure. So with that being said, go Steelers, go Steelers Nation, go. And you've seen it here on Steel Curtain Productions. Please hit the like, subscribe, and tell your friends about it. Pass it on. We muchly appreciate it, trying to grow this channel. And again, you're getting it from an old Steelers fan that's been and coached football. Again, it's and played. We've been, from the good old Steel Curtain days. So we've got a good eye for it, but we like to be straight up with when we're doing these podcasts. I like to put up the straight up. I don't want to just put your hopes up and just pump up the Steelers tires, because when they're not that solid of a team, I would rather see us expect less of them because that's how I see them. And then you're not so, um, you know, totally upset when they don't fare as well as we want them to. All right. With that being said, we will be. I guess we've got Denver next week. We got a very strange schedule, and these are games that we got to win though, because these are matchups. Denver, we got to take that game. Again, it's another Atlanta game. Those easier games, the Steelers have to capitalize, or you're not making it. Because I've noticed got a pretty soft schedule for the first 8 weeks, and if I was them, I would. I think you got to capitalize on all 8 of those games. There might be one in the mix that might be tougher. I think. Not sure if I've seen the Cowboys in there. Uh, if the Cowboys, I could understand that being a loss, but other than that, um, they really, all those other 7 games for sure should be with victories. And I get a feeling, because it wouldn't show me the rest of the schedule in week 8 onward is going to get much tougher. So we got to utilize those early games. Thank you for joining me, and leave your comments. Tell me what you thought of the game. I thought at least we won, because in my book, we have to win those soft games. All right. Thank you for joining me, and we'll catch you in the next one. God bless. Go Steelers, go.